Hello, everyone. My name's Hank Setala,
And I'm Dr. K.
and we are coming to you again with just a whole bunch of frequently asked questions about the Healing Clinic. We've had so much interest, and we just want to take a moment to kind of take some of the questions that we've been having and answer them. And so I'll go ahead and just bring up the first one. Very basic. What is an energy clinic? And so I think we're on the same page with our explanation. But Dr. K, why don't you kind of go over your idea of this first?
Well, this is something Hank and I talk about a lot. So, energy, it may be a new concept to some of you, maybe not. Energy is something we all have, and we're not talking about the energy where you're running in place or you wake up in the morning and you're like, I have no energy, kind of. But it's an internal thing that's going on. If you're not having a whole lot of energy, then there's something going on around you or in you that what I call is congested. So it's kind of like it needs a rev up, and that doesn't mean you come in and we give you a cup of coffee. It's not that kind of clinic. We might have coffee, but we there's something going on inside or on the really on the outside, because you do have a field, what we call a field around you. I call it like a windshield. And you feel when a cold's coming on, when you're feeling kind of depleted, when you're feeling angry, when you're feeling frustrated. That's kind of a thought process thing directly,
Uh-oh.
but they can measure it through neurotransmitters, through hertz, through internal responses. And that's my medical explanation. Hank will give another explanation,
Yeah,
but there's more going on. So we need to clean that up so you feel better.
yeah, and I've studied a lot of different types of modalities. One of which is shamanism, South American tradition, and we believe that we have something called a pop which would be very similar to like what you consider an auric field. And everything that ends up manifesting physically first starts in the field, like way out here, and it's out here. And if it doesn't get taken care of, and more things that are similar energy get added to it, it becomes more and more dense. More and more dense comes closer to the body, and then eventually become physical. So the energy clinic, the intention behind it is to take all that energy in that bubble that really doesn't belong, that isn't going to be a contribution to your health, a contribution to your body, a contribution to your being, and clear it out. And especially for all of our empaths out there, you know who you are. Everybody's empathic to some degree, but we have a tendency to take on a lot of other people's stuff. So a lot of this energy doesn't have anything to do with us, but we're like a sponge, and we are just pulling it all in. And so sometimes it's just good to have some sort of energy work done to just clear it out. And that way you can just have a little bit more of just you, yourself, and your soul, instead of you, yourself, and your soul, and all this crap from everybody else, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
All right. And if people who have attended the clinic, I know I saw Mark chiming in saying good morning. If you have any questions from when you were at the clinic that you would want to ask now, or if you have feedback about the clinic, if you want to put it up in a comment, we'd be happy to bring that up and kind of give people some experience from people who have attended. Now, another question we got is there anything I should do to prepare for the clinic? So that is the next question we'll tackle. And do you want me to go first in that one, or you
Go
want to
ahead,
go?
sure.
Okay. So the best thing is, as you're coming into the clinic, uh, as much as you can, just quiet the mind. And as you're driving there, maybe sit in the car for a minute, especially if you get there a little bit early. Just sit in and come as centered as you can be. Because if you've already done a little bit of that calming work, when we are working on you in that 15 minutes, we can get so much more done. If coming into it, you've already had a little bit of a moment of peace and calm, letting the stress of the day kind of subside away, we can end up being a little bit more effective with the time that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell people to just do a little bit of grounding exercises. I have very specific ones that I use, but it clears a little faster if you're grounded, and that makes us be able to work a little bit faster. We do have a little bit of a time constraint on this. So it just helps if you, like Hank said, just sit in your car or sit outside, feel your feet on the ground. I'm not going to go over the grounding exercises here because it's a bit involved,
Yeah.
but
We could have
um,
another video for that.
a video for that. I do have a YouTube video on that if anybody's interested. But grounding all day long helps you get back to the front and center, helps you clear your mind, helps you to see clearly when things are getting too stressful. So if you can just spend a few minutes in your car just putting your tongue to the roof of the mouth, that closes that like meridian, and you can just take a few deep breaths in and out as best as you can so that we can work more efficiently. Because if you come in all riled up and, from work, and it just takes a little longer for you to relax, and we do have a little bit of a time frame. Technically, everybody needs a good hour, clearing, and we can do that, but that's the purpose of this clinic is just to be efficient and get a
Right.
little bit of that stuff off of you.
Yeah, and for some people, this is their first time having done anything like this. And if you find that it gives you great results, Dr. K and I see clients privately, and I'm sure that we could actually set up times where we could do a full hour session, both of us working on someone. We just haven't created that yet, but we're the same plaza, so we could easily do that. And the other thing I just thought of that you could do to prepare is, especially going into the session, be as hydrated as you can. We all have a tendency
water.
not to drink enough water. And when we start to do this type of energy work, some of the stuff going on, it dissipates naturally through the body's, when you urinate and all these types of things. And if you don't have a lot of water in your system, it may be a little bit hard to do. So before and after a session, kind of jumping ahead to one of the questions, you want to hydrate as much as possible and just give your body the things it needs to start releasing the cellular memory component of what's going on. And our next question: how long do the effects of a session last? And this is one of those, as Dr. K, I'm sure, will also say, that is very much a variable, because everybody's very different. And I would say that the more conscious you are and the more active you are in your own betterment, like day to day, like, are you being mindful? Are you able to take a moment to step back and meditate? Are you finding yourself responding to things instead of reacting to things, where then you're looking at, oh my gosh, why did I do that? There's so many things, but the more aware you are, the longer the effects will last. So it really does vary quite a bit person to person.
It does. And the more healings you have done, the longer the effects last. So sometimes people come in and they're like, I was great for a week, and then it all came back. I'm like, we've only done one session. I find the results over my 1 hour sessions that it takes about 3 to 4, which are drop in a bucket because we have so much stuff, that's when things start to really shift for people. They do find, like, wait a minute, I'm finding I don't really get angry at my coworker. Like, I usually really get angry, and I wasn't so bad this time, or it wasn't there at all. These effects start happening, and they do start to become more permanent the more sessions you do. So we just accumulate, we have a lot of baggage. So over time, we collect these bags. And so this is our goal, is to clean some of these out so these things don't affect you anymore. Wouldn't that be nice? Like, if things
Yeah.
didn't affect you so much?
And one thing you can do too is make sure that a couple times a day you make it a point to check in. So if you're coming in because you feel a lot of anxiety or something like that, I've had clients where a week later I see them or whatnot, and I check in. Oh my goodness, what's going on here? Do you hear that? It's my phone rattling on the bottom of the green screen behind me. Oh my goodness, it just fell, and what a crazy sound. Okay, I have that off now.
I was like,
I got this new
was.
microphone, which is great. The audio is way better, but then stuff like that happened. It's just like, oh my gosh, what's happening? It's like an earthquake. But anyway, where was I going with that? Oh, check in with yourself, because I found that, like, I saw a client once, and I ran into them like a week later, and I'm like, well, how's that anxiety, or what did you get out of the session or whatnot? And they're like, oh, I don't know. Things seem pretty much the same. I'm like, where do you have your anxiety? And they're like, oh no, not really. I haven't noticed it. And so sometimes you're only noticing things when it's present, when you are stressed and when you are anxious, and it's kind of off-site, out of mind. So make sure you check in with yourself a couple times a day. Hey, am I anxious? Oh no, good. So you're more apt to notice the effects, because sometimes it's very effective, but we don't notice that it's effective because we're not experiencing whatever we came in for. So a good little rule of thumb with that too.
That's a very good key point, because we have days that are really good and nothing happens, and we kind of push that aside. And then we only notice when, oh my gosh, I'm still reacting to this. I'm still reacting to this. And you might not notice when you don't react to it, because there have been times where you haven't reacted. So it's almost like we want to hang on to the problem. We're there. So, and it's there, and we only notice when it's there. So these things do have effects. They do work. Trust in that. And again, the more we kind of clean up, the better you feel.
Yeah. And I just want to bring up Mark's comment. He was just saying, these clinics are super awesome. I highly recommend them. He came to our first one where we didn't quite have our rhythm down. So that means a lot coming from that first night, because we showed up and we're like, what are we doing? And we're like, well, let's see just what happens. And now we got our rhythm down. We work on people at the same time, and it's super fun and amazing. Thank you so much, Mark, for your contribution. Hopefully we'll see you tonight as well. The next question is there anything I can do after a session to get the most out of it? I already mentioned one thing: make sure you hydrate, make sure you hydrate. And what would be your number one thing to tell people to do to get the most out of the session afterwards?
To spend some time in quiet and meditation, and I will give some other instructions when you come, pending kind of what we do. I
Yeah.
do give a few other little tips, but I'm not going
Yeah,
to
I think both
disclose
of us are
those.
people getting homework from both of us.
Yeah,
And that was really, that
yeah.
depending on the person, what came up. Everybody's session is quite unique because everybody has different things going on. So we're kind of having a dialogue with you while we're doing what we're doing energy wise. And based on that dialogue and what we perceive during the energetic portion, we'll say, hey, this is your homework, or here's an affirmation that you can use, or different things that you can take with you afterwards. So part of that is on us, that we're seeing what is going to be the greatest contribution to you. And the other part is, what can you do to continue to stay centered and continue to stay as aware as possible to respond and not react to things? Because in that space, this lasts a lot longer too. Anything else you have to add to that?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
we'll give you extra little things for sure.
Okay. Now, the next question we had come up is, I want to come, but I would like to pay cash. Is that possible? So that came up quite a few times, actually. So we do want to do pre-registrations. However, if you want to do cash, if you can just text me, it's 440-720-4320, or send me an email. I'll make a banner. I didn't have that ready, but we can put your reservation in on the back end of the system so that takes out the time slot, and then you can pay cash when you come. So that's definitely possible. We still need you to send us a communication or reach out to one of us on Facebook, or however you normally reach out to us, and we can coordinate and get it in the schedule. And the other one to that is, can I just show up? So walk-ins are possibly okay because we are doing schedules. If you come in, you're welcome to stop in and see if we might be in between clients. If yes, we'll be happy to take a walk-in. If no, we might say, I'm so sorry, we're with the client, we have so many more. If you want to stop back at this time, we can put you in. And so, like, if you want to take a chance and just stop in, you can. Just know that we don't want to, but we might have to turn you away, or at least ask you to come back, 10, 15 minutes down the line.
Yeah, we try to be respectful because the other thing that happens is, we are working with you one on one, and some people do have very sensitive things that maybe they really kind of want to spit out and talk about, in those 15 minutes of something that's really hurting them. And some of those are emotional, and some of them may be difficult. So we just try to be respectful that there's not a million people sitting in the waiting room and hearing all of your stuff, So that's another reason. And COVID, we're just trying to have safety on all these ends for everybody. So everybody feels comfortable and safe in their own space.
Yep. And we do this in the large room in the center. So, like, when you come in, we just have a chair, you sit down, and then we both work on you in tandem. And then if you do come in and we're still working with someone, there's some chairs, you just sit down, have a seat. But we are trying to keep it pretty much to time. So if you come in, try to keep it to coming in maybe just 5 minutes early, and we'll be right with you. And that way you're also not in the space while someone else is having their session. And then the final question that I had, and then if you're watching and you have other questions, please comment now so we can get to them, because otherwise we're going to end and you won't have had the opportunity to ask. But I have caught your stream several times, but I'm not sure what you both actually do. Could you talk a little bit about your background?
Yeah. So I am a multidimensional integrative physician. I do
Ooh, I like
functional
that.
med.
Multi-dimensional
That just came
integrated
out.
physician. I never heard that before. That's awesome.
That came out this morning. Um, so I really treat the physical body and the emotional body because they are so interconnected. And I'm working on even some webinars on this, really, because what we really need to understand is that we all have a soul, and we all have emotional things. We have a physical body, we have an emotional body. These two need to be handled or tangibly and just interconnectedly, because what affects your emotions is going to start affecting your physical body. So I'm a functional medicine practitioner. I'm also certified in healing therapies, specifically in crystal pranic healing, which are it's amazing. It clears out your system. I'm certified in homeopathy. I'm certified in biofeedback therapies. All these things that really work to heal you from the inside and the inside and outside, dealing with your physical body and your emotional body, because these two, science is really starting to catch up with this and show how much your emotions play a role in your physical being. I see it time and time again in my office when people come in for, can you fix my fungus? Can you fix my stomach? But then we start talking, and all these things started 5 years ago when they got a divorce, and there was a lot of emotional trauma. That's when things hit. They hit you like a meteor. It's the emotional impact that a lot of times starts, and we don't even connect those two. A lot of people do not even connect these two. I am a foot and ankle surgeon by training. I have seen that, medications and doing surgery on people are often not the answers. Yes, we have traumas. Yes, things happen, but I needed to serve people in a higher and greater way. So that's everything in a nutshell, multidimensionally.
Well, yeah, that is like my favorite thing of the day right now. And before I tell mine, if you are watching and you do have questions, please make the comment now. I don't see that anybody has, but if you do have a question, now is the time. We'll do these videos again, but it would be nice to get them out of the way if you have something you'd like to know. And I am a natural intuitive due to a near-death experience close to childbirth. And then as I stepped into my giving up of medicating myself and my gifts, I got into aromatherapy, sound healing, shamanism, medical intuition, all kinds of a wide array of different things that I have training and certifications in. But what I do the most is I meet the person where they're at, and I work with whatever they need. So I work very intuitively in that sense, and oftentimes incorporate some shamanic components as well as the sound healing, because the sound healing and aromatherapy are these bridging modalities. They have things that are scientifically proven for the physical body, but it steps into this whole metaphysical world with balancing the energy centers. So it's a great bridge to really take care of the entire body, being, and beyond. So, and I think that's about it. Is there any other things that you've been asked that I didn't have ready that that we can speak to?
Well, I think trying to ask this question in the best, most efficient way is this weird? This may seem
This is weird.
weird because if you're
Yeah.
used to going to a physician and they give you a medication and nobody's ever done something like this for you, well, we may need to do a little class on what energy is at the very basic level. Where have you heard about this before? Where have you heard about Reiki before? I'm sure a lot of people have heard about Reiki. It is in hospitals now. Science is finally starting to catch
Even the
up.
Cleveland Clinic, they did a
Yeah.
double-blind placebo study on Reiki, and that's why they offer it now. They don't know why it works, but they know it works.
So, yes, we don't know why it works, but it works. So if you're like, what do you guys do really? Like, what are you guys going to do on me? Are you going to touch me? Are you going to pull my hair? Are you going to like make me do weird things? No, we don't make you do anything weird. You just sit. All you do is sit, and we work around you. Hank has a certain method he uses. I have a certain method I use. It's kind of like Reiki, but a couple different levels up or
Different.
on the
They're just
side. It's
different.
just different.
Yeah.
It's just a different modality. But this stuff does work, guys. Science is catching up, and
Yeah.
you're hearing about this now.
And when it comes to Reiki, just for context, that was rediscovered in Japan. However, it has roots. One of the symbols goes back to a type of shamanism that was in the Siberian region of Russia. Another symbol goes back to ancient India. And so, like, there's way more going on than what is in the traditional Reiki class. And if Reiki was discovered, like in Peru, it would have been called Kanchai, because it was discovered and it was through the lenses of a certain culture. So, and that's why I say it's just different, because when you look, there's like 400 different types of Reikis now, because everybody learns it, and now they're looking through their own glasses and they see something new and beautiful that was there. So Reiki is like a starting point that opens up the world to so many different possibilities and a lot of different things. And speaking of Reiki, we have somebody from Radiant Reiki saying, that sounds absolutely amazing. So thank you for joining the stream and offering your contribution. And I did have, so for people who are wanting to register, I put a link in the comments. I'm also putting it up here. It's at Emergence of Being /events/energy-clinic, or just go to emergenceofbeing.com. It's right in the drop-down menu there that you'll be able to find it. Or if you do want to just reserve a spot, you can text me. That's my number. Or email me at hank@emergenceofbeing.com to say, hey, I want to come. This is the time slot. And I'll just email you back and confirm that we got you in. And then we will see you at the designated time. Anything? Oh, and then thank you for bringing up the whole energy thing, because we sometimes take it for granted when we do this work all the time that it's just like a common knowledge. But there's some people that it just hasn't come across their radar yet. And it could be it sounds like we're speaking a foreign language to some people. Hopefully not. Oh, she works on Monday. She would love to come in, but she works on Mondays. Well, we are thinking about doing it different days as well, and also a virtual version, which we
We're
have
there
to
till
work
9
out.
too, by the way. So
Yep.
I don't know when you get off. And it's 15 minutes. Like, just stop by on the way home and just,
Yep.
you know, we try to accommodate those hours so that people that do work and even work late can just swing by and get that done. So yeah, but this, if you're tuning in and this is new and you're searching, because there's a lot of people I'm finding that are searching. They're searching for answers. Some are ready to walk through that door and invest in themselves and get healed from outside of the box because the box isn't working so well. Doctors are busy. They're not finding all the answers. They're not talking to you about this. They're not talking to you about nutrition. They're not talking to you about the things that are actually really, really important to your body. This is one of those things. And your doctor will never talk to you about energy. We're not taught these things. I had to go outside of the box to learn these things, and it took me time. And now I integrate it because it's so important. So if you're tuning in, just like, it just needs some healing. I'm just searching for something because what I'm doing is not working, but you don't know a whole lot about it. Please ask your questions now so that you know you have an answer. Don't be shy. We're happy to answer it. But it may seem a little odd to you, but know that it is doing something for you. It is definitely doing something for you.
And everything that you learn, because it is kind of, even though you're getting an energy technique, you do get homework. We have a dialogue. You get some tools to take home. So it starts to become a self-healing process, because the more you can practice the things on your own, the more rapidly and more effectively you'll get things. Because Mike was saying self-healing also. Same thing like with Reiki for self-healing. Anything you can do to really start stepping into wholeness and expressing your authentic voice in this world, it's all good. And I guess we're not seeing Mark tonight because he says, good luck tonight, have fun. So I guess he's not going to be able to make it. And Mark, by the way, congratulations. A little birdie told me you might have gotten in front of a green screen again. Maybe a little birdie told me. So I just want to say that is amazing. I'm so glad to have heard that. I would love to see what it is you put together. If you want to shoot over a link, and I would love to take a look and see what you've been up to, as long as it's appropriate, right? Knowing Mark, it might not be. But anyway, I don't see any other questions. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Hopefully we'll see you tonight. If you're catching this on a replay, we do this the first and the third Mondays of every month. And you can always check out the website to get the most current times and register. Any final words, Dr. K?
Not really. Just really, I think I'm hearing this. If you're on the fence and you're like, I don't know, it sounds kind of weird. I don't know. I don't know if I can make it. There's a resistance in your body, and this is what you need.
What would it take?
What would it take for you to get
Yep,
there?
ask the question. What would it take for me to have a different possibility?
And come, because if you're on the fence, that means you need it. If you're getting that zing inside your gut saying, I kind of like to do this, but I don't know, I don't think I'm going to do it, then you need it. This is the funny thing that happens inside our heads. We typically resist what we need most. So if you're on the fence, jump over that little step and just come on over. We don't bite. It really is pleasant, and you'll be very calm and peaceful, and you'll feel better.
Awesome. Again, thanks to everyone for watching, and you catch us on Friday as well for our 10 o'clock stream for Holistic Highlights, and we will see you next time.
Take care.